The Mystery of BELICENA VILLCA. Fourth Book. Quest for Uncle Kurt. Chapter 33. I could not assure you, if the first that we perceived was the sound, or the light, or the sweet and penetrating smell, unmistakable of the sandalwood smoke, or if we captured each Tekvas at the same time. The men of von Krupp were already sheltered in their tents, except for the two sentinels. The Gurkha and the Lepus finished to arm our tents aided by Heinz. And the two Standartenführer and I were still speaking. The sun had gone long time ago, and the dying twilight left pass rapidly the cold night of the Tibetan summits. However, in one instant, the glen started to be illuminated from the west, as if we were witnessing the dawn of a new and dazzling Sunday. Befuddled, stunned, hypnotized, the three of us remained looking at the ball of light, which crossed the ravine, and advanced through the center of the glen, at not more than 100 meters high. Although the halo was extended tens of meters around the brilliant core, was possible to distinguish that the hub was composed by four incandescent spheres, intersected eccentrically inwardly. But such observation was just for a second, because the sound that accompanied the resplendent apparition avoided us immediately any other perception. At least for me, who spent the childhood in a farm of Cairo, where honeybees were bred, such vibration resulted clearly familiar. Was the classical buzz of a swarm moving. It had started as a faint rumor, as a light was at the beginning a soft fulgur, but suddenly it turned insupportable. I think that the three of us covered our ears with the hands, to verify that nothing achieved to stop the sonorous penetration. With the head between the hands, and the brain drilled by the murderous wave, I fell on my knees completely bewildered. I felt that I was going to lose my senses and, in a supreme will effort, I looked around me. I saw von Grossen, still standing, convulsing and screaming, while at a few centimeters from me was lying the inert body of Reinhard von Krupp. Automatically, I put my hand on his neck, searching the pulse, but I realized that he was dead. My mind was clouded. An intense airsickness caused me the sensation that all was turning around me. The nausea, initiated in the stomach, shuddered me in a violent arcade, and an increasing anguish in the heart, which was already a declared tachycardia, produced me the impression that such organ wanted to jump and escape from the chest. Finally, victim of a psycho-physical attack, for which I didn't know any defense, I was fainting irredeemably. Laugh of demons, music of hells, harmony of the Creator God of the universe, in front of such disintegrate force of the soul, what remained of the hero, the charismatic leader, the initiate who, hours before was guiding his legion disposed to fight against the enemies of the earth or heaven? Very little, Nif, very little. Just a spark of will. Extempore, I was invaded by a strong tremble, and I delayed to notice that Bangai had caught me by the shoulders and was shaking me with rudeness. Within mists, I recognized him yelling before me. The 8 lepers were there too. 2 were dragging Eskadfil, other 2, sustaining to von Grossen. One of them ran with the dogs Davis, which were tied to an extreme of the campsite, and the others were tracing feverishly circles and signs on the ground with their scimitars, while they were intonating mantrams and adopting warrior mudras. The ball of light was already upon us, and the buzz of the bees reached its highest intensity. Whether for the shaking of Bangai, or for the effect of the yantras of the lepers, the truth is that I recovered the lucidity in part. The enough was to comprehend the dramatic words of the Gurkha. Shivachluk. Shivachluk. He was calling impatiently, without stopping jostling me, act that culminated with 2 impetuous slaps. With a head movement, I made him understand that I was hearing him. Opera, that is to say hero in Tibetan, take us out of here. Soon, or the Vimana of Shambhala will destroy us. How? How I'll do it, if I can't remain standing? Babbled despondent. The Dox Davis. Ode up Tobe. Magician in Tibetan, order to the Dox Davis, to guide you flying, to a destiny out of here. Do you understand me?" I assented, even though I didn't comprehend the request of the gurkha completely. "What must I do to make fly that Dox Davis?" I interrogated myself absurdly, but with a voice sufficiently high as to make that Shrivarya answered. The Lopa was evidently attentive to my reactions. "Name them as if they were identical to Kunta, the Garuda bird, who transport the gods, or as Lunta, the Pegasus horse that accomplishes same function. Say to them Svadi, Lung, Kla and Ekla, Svadi Lung, and they will fly." Destiny. What destiny? My head seemed that was going to burst. Perhaps was the unconscious, perhaps the scrotra rame, but the positive was that an inner voice said me. "Shining, you must go to Shining." I thought in the yantra I imagined as I could, and translated, "Shining to Kla and Ekla Svadi Lung." That is to say, "Kla and Ekla, let's go flying to Shining." Some of the lepers had put the leashes of the dogs in my hands. They were angry for the presence of the diabolic Vimana, and howled as if they were effectively the wolves of Wetan. When I imagined the yantra, they went rigid and inclined their heads forward, prepared to leave in fulfillment of the order. And when ordered Shining to Kla and Ekla Svadi Lung, occurred the incredible prodigy that the dogs Davis jumped from a kind of abyss which was extraordinarily created before them. I felt dragged by the leashes, hoisted in the air, and transported towards the east, sunk in an impenetrable blackness that now occupied the place where seconds before were the mountains Elton Tag. At being hoisted in the air, an abnormal weight in the legs put my body in tension for an instant. I turned back, surprised, and warned that a human chain was hanging from my extremities. The Tibetans had realized a set of tackles in the moment of the jump, clutching himself between them, and lifting to Karl von Grossen, and Eskadfil too. The gaze slipped downwards, and I contemplated stupidly the glen illuminated by the vehicle of Shambhala, and the campsite converted in a collective spulch. Reinhard von Krupp, dead. The sentinels, dead. And at the entrances of the tents were disseminated the corpses of those who reached to escape but not too far. The buzz was deafening, frightening, paralyzing. The buzz was called of the death. Heinz, Hans, Klester. I remembered my comrades, and I think that I screamed with impotence before submerging myself in the blackness and lose the consciousness.